another episode of In Your Business. Today, we're going to do things just a little bit different in the fact that the entrepreneur we're going to interview is actually two entrepreneurs. So it's a partnership, and I don't get to bring enough partners on the show. So today, I'm kind of excited to do that. We're going to learn about both entrepreneurs and then kind of get to know them as how they established into entrepreneurship. Then we're going to learn about the business and the partnership and just see what we can explore with these entrepreneurs. So Kim, Bruno, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Well, it's going to be my pleasure to get to know you, get to know a little bit more about your business and see where it takes us. So before we go into that, I always like to just get to know you as an individual. So Kim, if we may, we'll start with you. Did you grow up in this area?
I did. I grew up here in Centerville, Indiana, just down the road here from IU East.
Okay.
I grew up in Sao Paulo. Oh, I'm sorry.
He's
Go on.
me.
My bad.
It's quite all right, Bruno. Let's ask you now. Where did you grow up?
Just excited. I grew up in Sao Paulo, Brazil, but I do claim Centerville as my hometown in the States for sure.
So you do live in Centerville now?
Richmond.
Richmond, but
Oh, Richmond.
by the
Okay.
border.
Okay. All right. So as we get to know the business, we'll learn that the business is out of the Richmond area as well. So, but let's stick to getting to know you. And Kim, tell us, as you were growing up, you were in Centerville, Indiana. What was it you thought you'd be? Did you think you're going to be an entrepreneur? What did you want to be?
Growing up, when I was in Centerville, what was I going to be? And honestly, I wanted to be something environmental. I grew up on a farm, so I love being outside. I wanted to be something with animals all the time. But when I went to Purdue, I did go to Purdue and graduate from there in management. So I didn't go in ag, which like you would think, but I thought when I got to Purdue, I wanted to be some CEO or help run some company and climb that ladder is what I really wanted to do. That's what I saw myself doing.
Okay. So you wanted to be a CEO at a young age, went to Purdue and took management classes.
Sure did.
And so
Creative School of Business, Creative School of Management.
Still in that area then of business and entrepreneurship. So I'm happy to hear that. So
Yep.
Bruno, let's speak about your growing up. When you were just a little guy, what were you thinking?
Well, growing up the way I did, sports has always been, my number one priority. I started playing soccer when I was 11, 12 years older, and then just switched to volleyball when I was about 15, 16 years old.
Okay. So you were very athletic as you were growing up, but what did you want to be? What was that profession you were thinking about?
I wasn't sure what I want to be when I was that age, though. I just want to, get out of where I grew up to and still be involved in sports has always been one of my dreams.
Okay. So it's quite interesting, though, in the fact that Bruno, you grew up in Brazil and Kim, you grew up here in Indiana. So, certainly had different things going on as you grew up.
Yeah,
But-
A lot of it.
I thought you went to PT school there for a little bit.
It's best when growing up. What I want to grow up.
Yeah, that's
That's it. You're growing up. You're grown now, aren't you?
So Bruno, once you became a young adult, teenager, tell us about your educational venture. What did you do? You graduated high school.
I went- Go ahead. Sorry.
No. What happened after you graduated high school?
I graduated high school, and then I was already playing professional, playing volleyball on a professional level. I attended PT school for 2 years and a half, and then I dropped out, just pursued a volleyball career. When you grow up in Brazil, you got to pick what to do, right? Because then in Brazil, we practice about 8 hours per day, and I wasn't able to manage doing both. So I just chose to pursue the volleyball career.
Okay. So are you still doing the volleyball?
Yes, sir. Pretty much.
So tell us about that. Tell us how that works, because that's a part of this as well, is
Yes.
what you're doing today. So you're still playing professional volleyball.
Yeah, I still play professional volleyball. I play on the AVP Professional Beach Volleyball Tour here in the States. I went overseas to play during the winter until last winter. And talking to my wife, we decided not to go that route anymore. But I do still play professional volleyball out here in the States, and probably for another couple of years.
Does that take a lot of time?
Away from the family, yes.
Okay.
I try to keep my schedule, waking up early in the morning before the girls go to school, to do my physical workout, and then to try to drive to the Indianapolis 4 times per week to train out there, since we don't have any sand volleyball here in Richmond or Centerville.
Okay. And what about the travel? Do you do a lot of traveling in as well?
Yes, we
Why don't you
go.
talk about where you were and how far away you've been?
Oh yeah. Well, I played volleyball professionally in 14 different countries, including Argentina, Uruguay, Portugal, Switzerland, where I met my wife, Puerto Rico, Indonesia, Iran, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Tunisia. Really missed anything? Probably missed a country or two there, but it's a lot.
Traveled to Egypt and to play.
I traveled to all 5 continents. I missed one, but I'm pretty. I have been around. I traveled the world doing volleyball.
So in
Wow.
those seasons, like if you did a full professional season, a lot of time you leave in August and won't get back till May,
May-ish, yeah,
depending how far you go and stuff. But he's been on some shorter contracts. He went to India for
a month and a half.
roughly. He was in Saudi maybe for 3 months or something. There's some shorter
Yeah.
contracts out there too.
So if our viewers haven't figured it out yet, as well as being partners in business, the two of you are married.
Correct.
Okay, so you're husband and wife, and that's why Kim knows so
Yeah.
much about Bruno and his travel schedule. So,
Yeah.
so this is fun. And Bruno, we'll have to talk some more off air because we got to focus on business here. But some of the
Okay.
places that you've been, I've been. And so I'd love to compare notes on India. I taught there for 2 months. I'd
Okay.
love to compare notes about Tunisia, because most
Okay.
people don't know Tunisia, but I actually went to Tunisia for a couple of weeks
Wow.
and did business there. So it's quite interesting, that we've had some of the same travels. But Kim,
Awesome.
let's get back to you. And you
All
went to
right.
Purdue, but did you also play professional volleyball?
I sure did. After playing at Purdue, I didn't feel like I was done. I wanted to keep going, and I wasn't sure what direction I wanted to go. Everybody's talking about their careers, and I was like, I don't think I want to do that. I've still got some volleyball life in me, and still want to compete. So I went to France. I got a contract there. Then went to Spain for a couple seasons, and then went to Switzerland. Met this man as well, and played. And then where did we go? Went to Puerto Rico, and then went to Indonesia and played. And then after that, we moved to. Nope, we moved to Iran. That's where we
Iran.
got married, and then moved to Iran. I was done playing. They had a women's league there, but we'll save that whole topic for another time. But I was not able, you might say, to play. We'll keep save that story for another time in Iran. And we moved to Kuwait, and I was a coach in Kuwait. And I was looking around to see if I should get my master's somewhere, maybe while I was over there. And I was like, this job popped up to be a coach over there. I was like, I wasn't sure what I want to get my master's in at the time. So I didn't want to dedicate my time and money. I didn't know if I wanted get an MBA, was at a dime a dozen, didn't know where I wanted to go. So I started coaching and still tried to explore the world a little bit more. And yeah, but I played again and we went to Tunisia. I played then after 5 years of not playing. So then back into coaching and doing stuff in the summer with Infinity Athletics. So in the summer was always about this. It was about Infinity Athletics, making some money when we came back, trying to share the love of the game. And we'll talk more about that as you ask me questions.
Sure. We're about to get there. But Bruno, I do want to share with you that while we're online today doing the interview, I do some in the studio as well as online, but online is such a great opportunity to teach as well. And so I've had the opportunity to work with many professional athletes, mostly tennis, but also baseball and a couple other sports. So it's never too late. We can always work with you on a degree as well.
Awesome.
I'm working on that with them to finish it up.
But
Getting there.
very good. Well, I'm sure we could have a lot of fun and conversations. But so let's talk about how we transitioned, because the two of you met on the road. Where did you meet at again? What country?
Switzerland.
So you met in Switzerland. Each of you were playing volleyball, I'm assuming.
Yep.
Correct.
Yep.
And so what a story to be able to meet in Switzerland when you're from Brazil and you're from Indiana. But and so you two met, and from there you continued to play professional sports. And what brought you back to the Richmond area?
Gosh, that's short version of that is IU East assistant coach position came open. And I was told about that, and I'm like, it's a great place to be. We've moved back home. We have a kid. We're in our 30s. Kind of want to slow stuff down and get the kids around the grandparents and just see the farm life and just slow down for a little bit instead of living out of suitcases for a while.
So have an address where I can actually call home.
Yeah.
I think it's great because I have been in the places that you speak of, and man, some of those places are totally night day different from where we're at.
Yes,
And
sir.
all this home is very peaceful, relaxing, and enjoyable. So
It's been fun raising a kid in that, because she's got more stamps in her passport than probably majority of people here in America. I mean,
Sure.
she was speaking at one point in time, she was speaking some Arabic and Portuguese and English all at one time. So, I mean, she can't do it now, but it was a fun life.
Well, it does remind me though, that when you were interviewing for the position here, Kim,
Yeah.
you came by my office.
Yep.
And so we got to know each other at that point. And Bruno, I think maybe the first time I really met you was in an airport.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Dayton Airport.
Airport, that's right.
Yeah.
So it's been quite a while ago, but I do remember that. I don't remember where I was traveling, but I remember coming down the area and the two of you were there, and that's
Yeah.
how
We
we
were
met.
in New York, right?
We know you're going overseas.
We weren't, it was by ourselves. We're going
Well,
to
maybe you're going to New York for
we're
the
going to New York
for,
for ABP. That's what we're going.
yeah, for my tournament.
Because you
Yeah.
talked about a car dealership that you'd like to go venture out and see while you're out there.
In New York, or
Yeah.
yeah, I do that often. So at any rate, let's transition into business now.
Perfect. Yes.
And so the two of you met, you married, you continued to do your professional athletics, and then you started the Infinity Athletics. So let's talk about that. What is that?
So before I met this guy, I got a phone call interview, what you want to say about coming back in between those sessions of going overseas. So in the summertime, doing some like contracting work as a coach to work some camps around the country. And I mean, it was super appealing, a young person in their 20s. Hey, I can set stuff up for you in Alaska, out in Washington and Texas. And I'm like, ooh, that's fun. I can keep traveling and get paid to do this. So I was doing that for a couple of years in the summers for this gentleman. He's All-American volleyball camps. And then eventually I talked to him. I was like, I think I'm done doing this. I want to branch off and do this on my own. I can do this on my own. What you're doing, I'd go and I'm like, okay, there's 20 kids here. I'm one person. They're paying this. I'm doing this. Okay. And he actually was just tickled to death at that because he's like, I've been doing this for 15 years and not a single person has ever come to me and branched off into this on their own. He's like, I'm happy to help you. I said, okay, great. I'm going to do this. And it was actually called Elite Sports at the time. And I was working with another friend of mine that does the same thing. And she and I broke off to just different paths of life or whatever. And then eventually I changed it to Infinity Athletics and kind of picked up the stuff in the summer, met him and said, this is what we do. And we travel around and we get some high school volleyball camps. In the summer, we talked to different places. I mean, we had, what was the one up near Chicago? We had 70 something athletes, and we'll hire, I'll contract out other coaches to come help and share their knowledge as well. If we get too many players and stuff and we can't handle it between the both of us or something. And what we do, it's about 3 days. Usually it's a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then a Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So it's a way for us to get these 2 camps in a week. And it's about, it's like 6 hours, about 5 hours of the break in between. So 6 hours of work. Because after so long with high school girls in the summer and they just get tired, they have work and stuff too. But those 3 days we work with them, we go to their high school and we'll help teach them some volleyball and of course hopefully some teammate skills and just leadership skills. And then we'll leave there after 3 days and go somewhere else and talk to the coach and see what they want. We talk to them and cater to that team, what they specifically need. And we just that's how we started. That's what we do in the summers. And it helps him learn English really well as well. So
Yep.
Sounds like you really have it together. So how many of these camps do you run a year?
we've lately have not been able to do too many. I mean, so we another side thing is we get contracted out, like he gets contracted out to run beach programs or go, and since he does AVP, the professional beach league. So he'll get contracted to go run a beach program. That's what he's been doing the past 2 summers down in Texas at NRG. Well, it's not called NRG.
P1 beach volleyball players first.
P1 beach. Yep. So they found him. And so we also will get contracted in that way. So we're kind of doing different stuff. He's also got contracted to go out and out east to run some stuff for a few days. But I mean, but now with 2 kids, it's a little bit different. So if we pick up some stuff here and there, we might just do local day camps. I go to Winchester High School every year. Not Winchester, I'm sorry, Randolph Southern High School, and do that. At IU East, we'll do some camps, but that's different. But oops.
Oh, that's our
Sorry,
cat.
it's our cat saying hi. But I mean, back when we were really busy, we'd probably have 10 camps this summer at least, and it was busy, but it was so fun. You're still traveling, but living out of a hotel a little bit and eating some fast food. So, but it's a little bit different, but now it's slowed down a little bit. We more or less do the contracting instead of the camps, if that makes sense.
Well,
So,
I have to be honest and tell you, that's exciting. That's an exciting part about business as well.
yeah,
Because as you talk about the travel, you talk about living out of a hotel, you talk about that. It's the same things I do. And
You
because
have
I
to
run,
look at
programs as well. And so I'll
Right.
teach. That's why I was in India. That's why I was in Tunisia. That's why I've been in these other countries. We
Exactly.
do the exact same thing. You're doing athletics. I'm doing business.
Yep.
And I think if people ever watch, they would fully understand that too, because I'm actually pretty good at business and you guys are excellent at volleyball. And so we should do what we're good at.
Yep.
Right.
We're
think we do.
passionate about it too. It's easy to share your knowledge when you're passionate about it. And it's something we do. Like, I don't know the last time if we've ever taken actually a vacation that didn't involve volleyball.
Mhm. And I usually plan all my travel around about giving a presentation.
Yep.
I feel best if I do have a presentation in that mix.
Yep.
Right.
We do. That's what we do too. I mean, I've been to Alaska out there for volleyball, doing stuff like that. I mean, that's been fantastic. California. I mean, everywhere.
Well, a lot of people don't understand that in entrepreneurship. That's what it's about, though, is if you absolutely love what you do, you love to do it.
Yep.
And
Yep.
so you don't really step away from it. You just make it a part of who you are and what you do.
And
Correct.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say a lot of things, not just the volleyball part we're passionate about teaching how to be a teammate. And I think that really correlates with business, because you really, if you ever want to run a business, you need to learn how to work with people, teach people, educate people, and, do what you say. And I think that's
Lead by
easy for us
example,
too, that lead by example show. And so a big part of it for us, yes, we're in athletics, but we're really prideful in how we look, as far as might not tell now, but our health is a big thing, because we stand in front of young adults all the time and talk about what it takes to be good at what you want to do. And part of that for us is we're very passionate about our health and our lifestyle choices. I mean, we just got done working out before we did this together. I miss the days. He and I used to work out all the time together. It was so fun. We don't get to do that all the time, but so when we do, it's a lot of fun. And so that's part of it too. It's part of a lifestyle that we like to teach is, it's not just volleyball, but you want to be healthy. And we stand, like I said, we stand in front of young people all the time, and we can't preach these things without what they look at us and be like, well, they're saying this, but it doesn't look like they're doing this.
Right. We try to lead by example for the most part. So.
And we're
That's what we
passionate
should
about
do. We all should be leaders in business or athletics, whatever it is we're doing. And your athletics is a business. And so we should be leading by example. And you'd be surprised the people that are watching as well. And I try to pay attention to that, because
Yes.
Your children come to sporting events.
Yep.
They're watching you, they're watching me, they're watching each of us.
Yep.
And who knows
Correct.
why, and so
Yep.
we've got to set good examples no matter what we're doing.
Exactly.
Let's talk about the business again, though, because
Okay.
again, I understand the athletics side, and athletics is a lot of work. I
Yes.
mean, conditioning and always being ready and such, but what about business? You're running a business. This is a real deal. You're registered in the state of Indiana.
Yes.
So you have to schedule things, but you also have to have things like liability insurance, and you've got a lot of marketing. It may not feel like marketing, but it is. Even though you're using your networks, you're having to find the next gig, if you will.
Yep.
You've got to make sure that everything's in place. You said you hire people. That
Yep.
means you're responsible for payroll. So let's talk about the complications. When I say that, it sounds rough, but it's not. I mean, complications can be fun and challenging.
Right.
Let's talk about that. Are you surprised at how much work business really is?
I guess I forgot about the most important part about Infinity Athletics. We've actually, not just the camps, we've ran a volleyball club for 5 years here in Wayne County. And so that part, the payroll, the hiring people, the publicity, I started out with three teams or 4 teams, and trying to find coaches and making sure I teach the coaches what we want and how much I'm going to pay them, make sure I keep that on top of things, talking to parents. I mean, so the team has like 10 players, and then they have parents, and the parents want to know everything. So just communicating everything to the parents, and then money's coming in from them because they pay for these club fees, and making sure they know where their money's going, communicating with them. It was very stressful, to say the least, the first year or two, because it grew quick.
Yeah.
And they didn't have that around here. We're known in the area for volleyball, and they're like, we want Kim and Bruno all the time. Well, trying to explain to people, you don't get Kim and Bruno all the time. You get part of us, because we are the face and we are the brand Infinity Athletics, but we're teaching other coaches to do this too. And so with the payroll side of it, of hiring coaches, and a lot of them, they were young, and as a coach, you don't get paid too much, but making sure they understood, this is when you're going to get paid on, once a month. We don't do weekly. making sure this is how it's going to happen. I need to know this. If you don't show up for work, like you don't show up to practice or you don't show up to your tournament, it's different. Your salary is going to get docked because somebody else has to cover for you. So there's that side of it. And then trying to find the right tools to make sure everything is in line, because you don't want to miss a cent. You cannot misplace a cent, because not only are you on payroll, money's coming in here from this person, you got payroll, but you have your taxes. You have to, you have to keep that accounted for too. Where's your expenses? What can you get deducted? Who's your accountant? Do they understand your role in this business? And all these fun things. And trying to understand that has been a challenge too, of what we consider when I go to my accountant, what can be deducted? Is this a business expense? Is this computer that you use as part of business expenses? What about the phone? Could we deduct some of that? That part right there as a business, I think for me has probably been the most challenging to get the tax part of everything. But we have a good accountant that we'd like to talk to, and she's really good about it. So that's been a fun process, but trying to explain it to this guy too, that's been another thing, because he didn't understand any of this stuff,
Right.
And just like what we're doing, and him alone, he is a business of volleyball. So that's been fun trying to solve that. But going back to the club part, I've hired a social media director to do everything, because I don't care for social media. I don't understand it. I don't know how to do it all, but you know what? There's people out there that do and that love it. And let me take it, please. So I also, after year 2 was when Russ came on, I also we had brought in somebody else to help with us. His name's Russ at UT, and he helped tremendously. He loves it. So he helped just organize stuff. And I'm one of those people that I don't think my power is getting taken away at all. I don't look at somebody else and think, oh my gosh, they're going to outshine me. No, I'm like, please, whatever I lack in, your strength, come on, please come aboard and help, because at the end of the day, when we're doing this stuff, it's about the kids, it's about the youth. And we want to make sure we're putting out a good product for them. And, we think we are. Other people have their opinions, but we thought we were doing a good job with that. And it's just, there's other headaches with what we do, but it was really enjoyable watching them grow and then going out and seeing them play at their own high school and stuff. But
Kim, I've got to ask the question here though, because how long have you guys been doing this?
Say that again. Sorry.
How long have you been in business? How long have you been doing this?
Oh my gosh, 10. But the club 5. Before with the camps, probably another 5. It's close to 15, but it's evolved this whole time, because our business has evolved depending on kind of our lifestyle change and what the needs in the community have changed. Like when we did the camps, well, we weren't in one spot. So it was fun traveling around. Now we're in one spot. So with these camps, it kept us here. I'm sorry, the club, it kept us here. And we might have did some camps along the side, but the camps, the club was easier to do because we were, in one spot and we could find a location, what I mean? So
I think it's interesting though, to hear you talk about this, and I'm going to tell you why. You're excited. Okay.
Yeah.
When you also start speaking about some of these challenges that you had, those were challenges of the past. It sounds like you've adapted, you've gotten used to it, you're handling them, you're managing them.
Yep.
You might have been overwhelmed 15 years ago, 12 years ago, 10 years ago.
Right.
But today, you don't even think about it. You just do it.
Yep.
And that's the interesting part about entrepreneurs.
Yep.
Is we don't realize it. And how many hours a week do you suppose you're putting into your entrepreneurship?
Oh, goodness gracious. I don't even know if I can tell you how many hours.
Yeah.
And ours is weird because it's seasons. So like club season starts roughly now. So we would be putting in, oh my gosh, 30 plus hours just behind the scenes of it, and then taking phone calls from parents, taking phone calls from players.
It's a full-time job.
It is. It's a full-time job. It really is.
It's funny because you sound so much like entrepreneurs, because even when you say it's weird and it's seasonal and such, that's entrepreneurship.
Yep.
Right.
If you've got if you're a mechanic and you've got a garage,
Yep.
cold weather will kill the battery.
Yep.
And so it's seasonal, okay?
Yep.
As well as other businesses, a lot of bakeries, as it comes up to the holiday season, they get really busy.
Yep.
So there's so many different entrepreneurs that are so seasonal.
Yep.
And so we just have to learn how to balance our schedule and work with our schedule.
Yes.
Right.
I think it's important that, just like you said, you're not necessarily an expert in accounting, so you have an accountant.
Yes.
You're not an expert in social media, so you have somebody who is.
Yes.
Somebody who understands that can place that and make you guys look great.
Yeah.
And it's so important. And in the end, it's worth the money. What's most important though, and this is why we get the educations that we get, is so that we can recognize that professionalism, that talent, so that we don't just lose our business to somebody who doesn't know their business.
Correct.
We
Right.
got to find somebody who's professional that we can depend on to make our business professional.
Yes. And that's becoming
Bruno.
harder.
Bruno, I'm coming back to you because
Okay.
as I talk to Kim, I feel like Kim is truly leading. Is your partnership in business, that equal, or is she the CEO?
She does most of the job, you know, and that's one thing that helps me so much with my playing time, right? Because that's all I do. That's my business, you know, that's my brain. Coaching with her and, you know, following her steps and learning from all that stuff she just told you guys made him a better volleyball player, made him a better coach. You know, I can run my club down there in Texas on my own. I do sometimes call her and like, hey, I need help with this. You know, there's no ego in between us. If I don't know anything, I just pick up the phone and call her and ask for her help. You know, it's the other way around too. She definitely has more experience than I do when it comes to running stuff, clubs, you know, and practice and whatnot. So we're not shy to ask each other help. And she is, you know, the face of the Infinite Athletics volleyball. You know, it's her brand, and I'm here just to help as much as I can.
Sure. Well, I
Yeah.
think you guys are doing a great job. It seems like you complement each other very well.
Yeah.
And, you know, I see that all the time. I see it not just, you know, in your business as we're talking today, but I even see it here on the court when I'm watching, you know, Kim working with our IU East volleyball team, and I see her, you know, getting them ready. Sometimes I see you out there helping as well.
Yeah.
And it really makes an impact and makes a difference with all students.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so I think that's great. Turning it into an entrepreneurship, I think is so wonderful. There's so many rewards that go along with it, just so many things. You've already spoken to the fact that you're helping others. You're making an impression. You're making an impact on them. Your clubs are not just in this area then. How many clubs do you have?
Well, I stopped the one time out here. I needed a little break. I was missing my time with my girls at home, and this year, after 5 years of club volleyball, I said, enough's enough for right now. But I'm helping my assistant coach, Callie Topolsky, run hers a little bit, just trying to give her a little insight. But he runs the one he's talking about is beach volleyball down in Texas.
Correct. I got
Mansfield.
a Players First beach volleyball club down in Texas, Dallas, Mansfield area. I'm going to my third summer working with that club, and has been a quite experience.
So that's
Great.
like the contract out. Yeah.
Well, this concludes another episode of In Your Business. Kim, Bruno, thank you for being on the show, doing an excellent job in entrepreneurship. Probably didn't even realize it, but bringing, you know, athletics into entrepreneurship is amazing. So I've learned a lot today, and I'm sure our viewers will learn a lot as well. I'm looking forward to some more conversations now that I know you better. So
Okay.
thanks again for coming on the show.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you for having us once again.